That's a lot of things that were happening to my body. I wish I could go back and tell myself this. Hey everyone, this video is going to be about my results from coming off hormonal contraception. I did another video about 6 months ago and it was quite an in-depth video where I explained all of the hormonal contraceptions I've been on. It's basically been all of them. 6 months ago I was on the Mirena coil having lots of issues and I decided to have it removed and go completely hormone free. I'm going to go through the list of symptoms that I was having and I'm going to update you on whether they've gone, how that's changed, what that's like now. It was a very long list and all of these things were on the leaflet. I didn't read the leaflet, as many of us don't when we first get put on contraceptives, because we're like 15 I think I was when I first went on the pill, and I just didn't consider it. It was just the done thing and I feel like that needs to change. Obviously whatever you do with your contraceptives, that is down to you, you do you. I understand that I'm in a privileged position and I can make the decision here. Many people can't. I just wanted to share my stories just in case some of you are wondering, because when I decided to come off hormones I watched a load of these videos and it was part of the reason why I decided to stop taking them or to have the coil removed, and I'm so glad I watched them because I don't think it would have persuaded me otherwise. I couldn't really see all of the things connecting. I didn't really know that the Mirena coil could cause these issues, so now I do. So pretty much everything has changed for me. It's really cool, I'm really happy about it, but I kind of wish I knew sooner. So the last contraceptive I was on was the Mirena coil. I had it in for just over a year and had it removed when I decided to come off hormones completely. I did experience what some people call the Mirena crash, and I had a lot of up and down mood swings and I was craving lots of different foods and I could really feel the kind of hormonal fluctuations. My sleep was up and down, everything was all over the place. I was having mood swings. When I got it removed, everything was up in the air for a while. That has settled down now. If you're interested in all of the things that happened, then go and watch the other video because I do go in much more into detail. So I had it removed. Firstly, hair loss is one that I was talking about. I was losing a lot of my hair like around here, and if you've been watching my vlogs over the last 6 months, in the beginning, like the first couple of months, I was talking about having all of this like wispy hair that was down to about here because it was growing up from the top. Essentially a lot of my hair started to regrow almost immediately after I had the coil removed. That's completely changed now, so it definitely feels a lot fuller. I have just dyed it pink but still a bit wet, but my hair's generally felt a lot healthier and it's not falling out anymore, which is great. It definitely grew back almost straight away, so that was clearly something that was linked to the Mirena coil. Again, it is in the leaflet that it can cause that. I just didn't know. I had this kind of cloud, like brain fog, but almost like depression. I was just like experiencing kind of low mood, but not really low. Obviously I've got bipolar disorder, so I find sometimes I experience really bad depression, and it wasn't like that. It was just like the kind of lack of energy, really struggling to do day-to-day tasks, really struggling with my training. That whole cloud has completely lifted and honestly I feel like a different person, and I think my partner noticed it as well. Like my whole energy has changed. I've definitely got a lot more energy, especially at certain times in the month. I've got more energy for training. So yeah, that cloud lifted and I'm not having mood swings anymore. I'm not experiencing like huge fluctuations or anything like that. When I do experience like mental health, it's quite easy to tie it either to the time of the month in my cycle or something happening in my life. It's not just like doing its own thing anymore. Weight loss, or fat loss actually, because I technically gained weight, but I've gained the muscle back that I lost during lockdown. But I'll put a little picture up on the screen and you can see the difference between my physique 6 months ago and my physique now. I have definitely lost a lot of fat and gained muscle back. I look leaner. In the previous video I was talking about having a lot of inflammation, which I did have. I was clearly retaining quite a lot of water. My legs like felt quite sore to touch and just quite inflamed all the time. I was in quite a lot of pain from the training volume and I just felt like my body wasn't recovering, and so the inflammation has gone as well. I remember I lost quite a lot of water weight over the first couple of weeks just because that inflammation was going, and then after that it was easier to train because I had more energy, but also my recovery and my performance started to increase. So over the last 6 months I've PB'd a lot of my lifts. Pretty much every single one of my lifts apart from snatch I've I've PB'd. My training has got so much better. I don't think it's all down to having the marina coil removed or coming off hormones completely. I think obviously we're coming out of the pandemic and a lot of that, gyms are reopening and I'm getting more motivation for training, but definitely back 6 months ago I didn't have the motivation to train either. That's definitely changed. The impact on my recovery is super clear. Back in January when I first did this video, my recoveries were all over the place, and you can see that by looking at my Whoop stats. It's a fitness tracker that I wear on my wrist, but it can track over periods of months, and it tracks your HRV, which determines your recovery. I find it's very accurate. You can see there's a big difference from getting a lot less red recoveries. I'm able to strain higher, so I'm able to perform better in the gym, and recovery from that performance is also good. So my fitness is increasing and that muscle gain is happening and everything's moving in the right direction. And I do feel like a lot of that is to do with having this thing removed and my mood lifting and also my energy lifting. My mental health is generally a lot better. I just feel happier, more stable, more calm. I felt like I had this constant level of anxiety when I had the marina coil in, and it isn't recommended for people with mood disorders, which I didn't know before I had it done. But that sort of anxiety is kind of lifted, apart from a couple of days a month, which I'll go into. Generally, I'm so much happier, so much more productive, and it does all coincide with having it removed. I think possibly it was just having such a big impact on me, but I hadn't realised because it was all these little things. A couple of other bits that were happening, I had this kind of weird skin texture going on. I had like kind of hard patches of skin and like bumps, and I was getting quite bad hormonal acne around my chin here. That's all completely gone, not having issues with that anymore. I was also getting it on my chest, and that's totally fine. My skin improved quite dramatically over the first couple of months after having it removed. I did find it fluctuated quite a lot in the first few months, but it settled down after that kind of marina crash period of time was over and my hormones started to feel like they were rebalancing and my cycle started to go back to normal, I guess. That I had like abdominal tightness, I guess, around where the coil was. I couldn't feel it necessarily, but I was feeling like a lot of tightness and pain in my hip flexors and pain in my back, and I didn't realise that was to do with the coil. But when I had it removed, it miraculously disappeared. And even in the first week, in the previous video, I talk about being able to like wiggle around and feeling like I'm just freer, I guess. So I definitely felt the difference having it removed. And I was also having migraines, and before I had the marina coil I had never had a migraine. I had the marina coil put in and then I had a fair amount of migraines. I haven't had a migraine since I had it removed, so I feel like that is directly tied to having the coil. So that's basically all of my symptoms that I was having, and it's a lot. That's a lot of things that were happening to my body. All of those have improved. I wish I could go back and tell myself this. The first couple of weeks were really difficult, but I'm glad I got through that. I found within the first month or so I started craving lots of different foods that are apparently good for your hormones, like fermented foods and magnesium, and I started to fill my diet with more nutrient dense sources. I've definitely craved a lot more vegetables. I found it easier to eat kind of more intuitively since I come off the hormones. I feel much healthier generally. Another thing that I also noticed is that my hunger dramatically decreased. I was just like ravenous all the time, and I have done a few things with my diet as well over the last couple of years. I've tried to eat more intuitively, I've tried to come off tracking, I've tried to make sure that I'm eating enough instead of restricting, but I feel like when I had the coil removed it was like that missing piece. Suddenly my hunger felt like it was at a normal level. Yes, I still eat a lot of food because I'm a big human. I'm over 200 pounds, I'm 5'9", so I do need to eat a lot. I have a lot of muscle. For my size and fitness level, I feel like my hunger has decreased, but I also feel like I'm not as intensely hungry as I used to be. Like before I was just like ravenous, but now I like know that I'm hungry and I'll go and eat something and it's like not a big deal. But previously I'd be like really almost anxious about being hungry because I felt so hungry so suddenly, and I feel like that might be something to do with hormones. So I found two things really useful in this journey. One of them is natural cycles. I started using natural cycles when I had it removed immediately because I wanted to kind of see what my hormones were doing, what my cycle was doing, and kind of understand it better because I had no knowledge or information on that. It's so good. It gives you like insights of like what day in my cycle I'm on. It has a whole cycle insights page where you can look at how long your cycle is. So mine is like 27 to 29 days. In the beginning, my longest one was like 30 days. And using natural cycles, I've started to notice very specific things about how my mental and physical health changes. So I know day 15 of my cycle is a nightmare for me. I don't know why. I think that is like potentially around the day I ovulate, which natural cycles does track, which is really cool. I think it might be like the day after, and it could be something to do with sudden increase of progesterone, which is also what happens at the end when you've got like PMS, and that's where your anxiety increases. But day 15 for me is awful. I really need a lot of sleep as well. And I kind of have started to figure out for myself what days are bad for me and what days I need to look after myself more, and then what days I can train harder. So in the early part of my cycle, I get really motivated for training and really excited. I've got a lot of energy. I can really go hard in workouts, really hit that high intensity, and obviously I can see that through my Whoop. So Whoop is the second thing that's been really helping me, because obviously I can tell where I am in the cycle from natural cycles and compare it to Whoop, but Whoop has now brought in a feature where it can track your cycle within the app, and it gives you recommendations on how hard you can train, which is just so cool. So right now I'm on day 26, and it says late luteal, dramatic changes in hormones may make it harder for your body to recover from strain. After working out, try and increase your hydration and sodium intake to boost performance and recovery. So it started to give me like recommendations based on where I am in my cycle, which I'm so excited about. And if I click a few of the other ones just to show you, so based on where you are in your cycle, it gives you different recommendations, which is really cool. So yeah, early follicular, that's when I've got more energy. And then here it says, based on your 98% recovery and your menstrual cycle phase, complete an activity of 9.9 strain to meet an optimal day strain of 10.1, and my strain tolerance is low, so that's really cool. Previously Whoop didn't have that function, and it was saying that I could hit a much higher strain when I was in this later phase of my cycle. So it is kind of based on like the hormone cycles of men, where they just stayed the same the whole time, but with women it can be very different, and I love that Whoop have now started to pay attention to that and started to give us recommendations. If you want to use Whoop to track your cycle, I do have a link down below that will get you £30 off and your first 3 months. This video is not sponsored by either Whoop or Natural Cycles, but I do get a little kickback from the Whoop link. It helps to support me continue making these videos and to continue helping you guys out, so thank you. Honestly, I found Whoop one of the best tools to help me track my training and performance and really stay on it, and the fact that they constantly update it all of the time is really cool. I can't wait for the 4 to come out, because that tracks temperature, and I think what I'm going to do is use the skin temperature and then record that in Natural Cycles. I'm not sure if you can do that, but I will see. I'm hoping for like a Whoop Natural Cycles team up in the future. So yeah, all in all, having the coil removed has massively helped my performance, massively helped my recovery. It's helped me lose fat and gain muscle and increase my performance, and it's helped improve my mental health. It's changed everything. I'm really glad that I did it, and I'm really happy where I am with all of it, and I'm not going back. So I hope that's helped some of you. I'm hoping that if I describe some of the symptoms that I was experiencing, and some of you guys out there are experiencing the same thing, it might bring your attention towards it, and then you might consider changing something up or seeing your doctor about it. Obviously always see your doctor before you change anything. If you're going to get a coil removed, you have to book it in anyway and go through a whole process. I support you no matter what you want to do with your body, whatever's right for you, that is your decision. But I believe we should be in charge of our own health and what goes in our bodies, and I wish that when I was younger I would have known that I didn't have to just do the done thing and be put on the pill, and I wish I had read the leaflets of all of the things that I put in my body, because now as an athlete I find that it does like dramatically affect my performance. If I had had it removed a couple of years ago, maybe I could manage my mental health a lot better. We will never know. Anyway, I hope you have found that helpful. If you're interested in more videos like this, I will add this to a playlist, and anything that comes up to do with female health in general, then I will put it all in this playlist. If you're interested in health and fitness content, vlogs, tips on CrossFit and weightlifting, then feel free to head over to my channel. I would love to have you there. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!